GaryCon 2 going up.
Forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
Everything good? Test, test, test. Everything good?
Sounds great.
Oh, yeah, we can hear it soon, so we'll see.
GaryCon 2 is up and running smoothly.
Okay, good.
We're dual streaming on both guys on GaryCon and 2 and Lorca Zumba right now. Hello, Catano. How are you? Sound good? You guys can hear us? Can the audience hear us?
Are we having fun yet?
We'll see. Yep.
Yes, Catano. Definitely. Oh my gosh, do I have what is going on here? Oh, okay. It doesn't auto shut off on this. And that's okay. I had to quit Discord that way. All right, what button next? What button next? This one. I got so many buttons now with other stuff. It's always fun in Greyhawk, absolutely.
Yep. Gautana has the right attitude. This is perfect.
We sound clear. Good, thank you, Katana. I gotta check everything, guys, with running dual stream. TM with a resub, thanks. Tomorrow night, stratagem giveaway. Dice. Titan dice, fumbling dice. And how many did I lose in a row that one time? Like 7?
You beat Ben, yeah, something like that.
7 initiatives?
Big dice are better than small dice.
Yeah, I like big dice too, but they might not be the best.
And I threw your logo up because that is your edit.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I made some changes to it and put some new pics in and stuff. Dice were excellent for the players, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have to call them DM's dice.
Yes, something.
Scott.
Ah, okay. Excellent. Thanks everyone for hopping on tonight. Part 5 is the finale of Trials of the Legion, but I'm not sure if we're going to do it next week or not. We'll see. We're finishing up part 4 tomorrow night. So. Whew. Okay. This is the first of 8 streams this week. Sunday, Twitch counts Sunday as the end of the week.
Yeah, I saw that schedule. Oh my god. I'm mostly down just for you guys. I know that Frog God Games was getting into GaryCon and Reaper's doing GaryCon.
Well, yeah, virtual GaryCon is catching on. It's huge.
Yeah, that's what I was ahead of the curve on it. Look at this, a new Kickstarter for Miniature Building Authority starting soon. Probably once the COVID dies down, he said.
But is that one going to be sci-fi?
It's called Shantytown, so it can be used for a lot of things.
Is that where the Rennie live?
Could be. Could be Bargetown as well. Look at that. I mean, it looks pretty cool. So, you can use it in all sorts of settings.
Yeah, I do get a Renee feel about that.
We already got a request on fun discussion.
DM, I guarantee you it may already be up, so we're save it. I guarantee you we're going to get to all of them tonight because fun. There's hey, there you are, Tom. Good. I'm glad I can see you hopped on. All right, so Shantytown's coming, guys. NBA, and they'll have a full vid soon. That's not ready, so I put together this little hodgepodge for Kirk.
Are they doing the boat?
It's nice.
Too? They doing that barge?
Oh yeah, lots of
That's
cool
a nice
stuff
barge.
coming. Definitely.
I could definitely use something for Renee. So.
Also, we have a date set for this too. Oh man, I got some surprises tonight. Wait till you see who. I got some follows that are real interesting that'll come up on. Plus, I made a little couple changes to the GIFs, freshen them up a little bit. You can get a lot done when you're sitting in front of a desk all day. Yeah, I wouldn't drink the Shantytown water. That's funny. All right, let me check GaryCon 2 real quick. We're going to run GaryCon 2 for 15 minutes, and we're going to zip it. Looks good so far.
Gary Hollian started a new Cannon Fire Discord channel. Those guys, they're talking until like 3 in the morning. It's killing my sleep schedule.
Yeah, I had so many new pop-up, so I haven't even got to it. It was like 82 mentions, whatever it was like. So I need to get it, look at it tonight. Yeah, I commented a little bit yesterday. Yeah, and there was a whole
These
bunch
guys
of,
think we're in college still?
yeah, kind of.
I mean, really, a fire's under their ass right now.
Well, it's a good thing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's enjoying themselves, and it's the timing, and so, you know, hey.
But I'm used to be able to sit here home working on what everyone else's busy life. So all of a sudden, everyone has time to talk and chat, whatever. It's awesome, but I need to catch up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been busy as anything. I've run reconnected with a couple people I
Hey,
haven't
Christoph.
talked with in a long time.
So, 3 Titan Dice sets tomorrow night given away, guys. 2 to subs, because you guys deserve it. And 1 open sign-up raffle for followers, and subs can sign up for that one too, but it's an open one for anyone. Alright, so I have your choice of pink or black. So if you really want to torture yourself, like me, you can get a pink set and have at it. What's the pink called? Pink's called Calliope? Is that, I say that right, Anna? Calliope?
Calliope?
Yeah, Calliope.
Meaning, don't ask me.
Awesome.
It's your language, not mine.
You probably know it better than most.
Hey, left coast.
I'm start to acquire it. Yeah, exactly. You work in things that have colors, name of colors, don't you?
That was good.
Yeah, hikers that. Yeah.
Time for some fun in Greyhawk. Or torture, the way however you want to look at it, Mike, right?
Yeah.
Some of these modules.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself.
Even the worst of them, which I'd say is half of Greyhawk, even the worst of them, some people really dig stuff out of it.
Yeah. It won't be just on cheesy modules, guys, okay?
You're missing Gargoyle.
So our dual stream test at GaryCon 2 is working very well, it looks like. I'm glad to see that.
Wiley.
Yes, thank you so very much for the resub. You guys, I'll put it up in the announcements in a second. we got some new picks, so we got some new GIFs on the show. All right, we're coming on, guys. Fun in Greyhawk. Good evening. How is everyone tonight? I'm Jay Killer Gazumba, and I got Greyhawk Mike with me, Anna Meyer, and Jason Zavoda. Tonight is a... Whoops, I didn't start this in the right place. Tonight was not supposed to even be a night of Legends and Lore, but since we're not traveling to GaryCon tonight...
Table flip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We just decided to add on this one and keep it lighthearted tonight,
Yeah.
you know? So... Cool, Casey. That's cool to see. I mean, we got the crew's on. All you guys, I really appreciate you hopping on tonight and sharing this with us.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. That's right. So this is the first of 8 straight streams. 8 streams over between now and Sunday. 1 tonight, my game tomorrow night. 2 seminars back to back, Anna's and Greyhawk on Friday. 3 on Saturday, streaming and technology. My Horror in the Holes game. Brian's Tuma Tiber's game. Then Sunday we do a GaryCon virtual recap, just like we were at a regular convention. So cool. Why don't everyone say hello and say, hey, fun is fun, right, with Greyhawk when it comes to that. So Mike, kick it off, man.
Sorry, what was that?
Kick it off, man. Say hello and synopsize about the fun times in Greyhawk. He got the hat on.
Oh, yes.
By request. So I'm kicking off the fun times in Greyhawk, huh?
Yeah, you don't have to be specific, just in general.
Damn.
Well, first, I'd like to preface that for, what is this year? 2020? So for almost 2 decades, I've been doing fun stuff in Greyhawk.
Awesome.
I've had parody comic, and I've done just all sorts of things on Greyhawkery and whatnot. So I got a ton of things. You think we're going to talk about modules and things. I got way more than that.
That is so fantastic.
Anywho, though, I would like to just get this ball rolling. Then let's
do it.
Let's just get rid of Castle Greyhawk first, since my friend Scott and Kanan's on here.
Okay.
Castle Greyhawk. I mean, how many?
It's right on there right now.
Yes. So there's so many versions of this castle, right? So why not have the silly one? You know, we all hate it, but has anyone actually kind of read it with the intention of not running it? If you do that, then I think it's an enjoyable book.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, I picked it up thinking, "Oh my God, they finally redid Greyhawk Ruins," and then
Yeah.
I was a little shocked, but that's okay. You know, it's just that happens. But I have it; it's a keeper for me, you know. So what are your thoughts on it? What's everyone's thoughts on it?
Well,
I
have
thought
it.
it sucked, but
Jason, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have started reading it a little bit and then realized, no, this is not for me, and never read it since.
Okay.
Not even for my map making, unfortunately. So I realized I
No,
should
no.
read it. Yeah.
I didn't index it.
Oh, you didn't?
No, there were a couple things I just couldn't bring myself to index.
Can you
But-
please share what those were?
Well, I think, actually, I have them listed on the source material with a big not indexed in capital letters next to them.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Later on, I was talking with people, and they were saying how much for a silly campaign that they actually got stuff out of WEG7, the Castle Greyhawk. It wasn't for me, and it's not my kind of campaign, but I tell you, later on now, I wouldn't mind playing and stuff like that.
And I throw a lighthearted one in there every now and then too, or just a
Yeah.
hack and slash
You have the
mindless thing,
best
kind of like
NPC.
Saturday night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you have the best, most fun NPCs in Greyhawk history.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
hear that a lot. Or
Yeah.
the most hated, but they're fun.
Well, they're fun, they're silly, and
Hold on.
yeah. Mhm.
Please note, everyone, that Goontaka is on, and he has a green sword that Josh has agreed to help with moderation. I just need more moderators, so I may be reaching out to look for 1 or 2 others.
Yep.
So it's a good thing. So that we, Rox does a good job, but he can't. And Brian's all. They just can't be everywhere. So we're gonna add some. So
Well, look in
awesome.
chat. See what Malden's saying. He's
Yep.
saying how he's able to use several of the side levels, and it's Zagig who's crazy, so it's a crazy silliness there.
And there's nothing at all wrong with that, right? I mean,
Right.
silliness is fine to have. I'm turning off broadcast 2. The test went well. We're exiting GaryCon 2. Okay, so we were dual streaming for a while. They wanted me to test it because GaryCon 2 had not been used for a long time, and the test is ended and successfully. So thank you. All right, keep going there, Jason and Mike.
Was Zaggy always crazy like that, or was it just the fact that he had got that powerful and was doing all this stuff that made him crazy?
I don't know. He seems to be an eccentric and then kind of overboard. But wasn't he part of guilty of or kind of the root for a lot of the success of the city as well? So he kind of built things that actually, he made it prosperous and stuff. And so it was not just like a complete going off the
So I think it
rails kind
came
of crazy.
later.
Yeah. I guess he was dabbling with things that was too powerful for him, and he went off the rookers, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, because they toy with the idea that Zagig Ukraine and Zagig, that people wouldn't see the link to them, but it seems pretty clear. So Zagig Ukraine is the one who, he was there at the beginnings of Greyhawk when it was a small village in a trading post or a fishing village or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You never see those two Zagigs in the same room together.
And then the deity Zagig, that's, I don't know, is that linked to the Great Stone Face, or is that, I'm just misremembering? There's this object in, the ruins of the castle. It's the Great Stone Face, and, that's all filled with mysterious stuff. And, Zagig, you can't really figure how he went from, mage to demigod to god, so he's a deity there. And a crazy one at that. So, and it's like Icarus is pointing out that Gygax did silly stuff all the time. The whole zagging thing I've always kind of seen as a persona of Gygax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, who is? I hate to go here, but I have to. Who is more persona that's closer, Zagig to Gygax or Elminster to Ed Greenwood?
Oh, definitely Elminster.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, but because you have Mordenkainen too, that is kind of a Gygax figure too, so to speak, wasn't he? But I agree that Elminster and
Elminster totally. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. That's my sense, at least.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that was that I think Gary had more of a sense of humor of himself, of the whole situation a little bit more.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
absolutely.
And especially at the very beginning. I mean, I have, I was tracing, early publication quotes from Gygax, and one of the early ones is in Alarms and Excursions #2. And my God, he is a groovy, funky Gary Gygax. And that one where he's just open, he wants people to use the game like they want to use it, and he's very open to really anything going on with the game. And it's only later that he got much more grim and conservative about and possessive of the rule setting. But
I guess when it became a professional enterprise rather than just fun, so to speak.
Well, early on, what happened with Gygax was the people at the beginning, back when he sold 1,000 sets, which isn't much, it was very popular, and these guys are photocopying it, and they're telling people not to buy the rules, to photocopy the rules, and all these people, like the people at Caltech, they started Dungeons and Beavers, and they were basically grabbing hold of Dungeons and Dragons, and it really set Gygax off at a time when 1,000 people. They're like, back then we didn't have the internet, and what they had for these what do they call them, APAs back then, where you'd send messages back and forth on a monthly basis, and you'd publish them all together in these big loose conversations like we do now with email and with forums and such. But they did it in a print publication, and right at the beginning, the loose happy Gygax kind of got slapped down by people feeling that somehow he shouldn't make a living at running a role-playing game in it. And very within 15 issues of the Lamb's Excursion, he went from the happy Gygax to the Gygax that was really slapping down a lot of outside creative stuff. And but there was a reason for it, just reacting to them, attacking him. And back in the days when he didn't know that D&D was going to explode, it was D&D. First year they sell 1,000 box sets. 6 months later they sell another 1,000, and within the next year they're into the second, third printing. They're starting to go on 10,000 sets. So, back then, when you're hearing from a couple dozen people telling everybody to photocopy the rule set, it's really worrisome when you've got 10 employees and you've only made about $10,000 for the year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think.
Glad. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm so glad that he invented Oli Damara before he became kind of grumpy. Yep.
Yeah, that's his home campaign was really wacky. I mean, everything that we're seeing here is nothing compared to that Greyhawk Gygax home campaign where they threw in everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castle Greyhawk was a wild, wacky place.
Well, we'll keep it lighthearted tonight, and talk about some of the things that are kind of whimsical, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, someone else want to throw out? We hit the big one first, right? The big spoof of all time.
Branch off from there.
Yeah, branch out from there. So, for me, it's showing up now, and it's supposed to be a serious module. Let me just shoot it right out there. Expedition to Barrier Peaks. Okay, fun, but an old and crazy, and to think that when I'm like, I don't know when did this come out, 1979, 80? It's just an early module, right? This is not an older module. I mean, a newer one. To have those charts in there, it made your head explode, right? There you go. To have your complex, I was like, what do I have to do to see if you could utilize the items? It was interesting. Plus, you had robots in there, and you had robot fencers and robot bartenders and a robot medical assistant. And
I used to run Gamma World.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Gamma, yeah, very Gamma World is connected to it, right, Tim? The ever mysterious Tim with a great point. But there's some monsters that what would we do without them in Greyhawk now? And I think the next picture will show you one of those. What would we ever do without Vegapygmies?
Oh, Odin. Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on. Vegapygmies are like, I love Vegapygmies because throw them somewhere in a swamp or in a setting. I just used them recently, and they come from this module.
That's where they come from. I
Yeah.
never used them really, and I recognize the looks of them, and they look silly enough to.
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
fun, so, yeah.
And then there's
What's
some
the characteristic of the Vegapygmy or the?
they're very susceptible to magic, if I recall correctly, and they're very low intelligence, like base, like plant life that's becoming sentient, basically. But they have,
yeah.
So on the basis, and then there's great fun
bunny
monsters.
The bunny monster.
Yes,
They're
bunnies in Greyhawk are lethal. If you
Yes.
see a bunny, run.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of my favorite.
Look at the bones.
Yeah, my favorite death monsters of all time. And if you look closely, you can see the eye stalks on this one. Another great fun trap. Yes,
Roundup.
and that would be your wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
Yeah, somebody was watching Holy Grail.
Yeah, absolutely. Another really cool, the bunny's actually a growth on the top of the wolf in sheep's clothing. This is a nasty creature. I throw them in there every now and then to this day. Once again, it came from Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. You know, that's where, it's right where, because that's in Monster Manual 2, if I recall correctly, is when they finally get around to publishing this. But another wonderful, wonderful creature out of this crazy
It's
module.
not a wolf nor a sheep, though.
It's not. It's a tree trunk, basically, with a big mouth. It's almost like a mimic.
And
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Keep on going. And of course, one of the funnest, and well,
Oh, that is hilarious, that one.
this one is the time to dump the trash out during this adventure, and they throw you all out, all the robots do, with the bullet right outside. So another fun event that I can't think of a worse thing to get thrown out with than a bullet.
That is such a great picture.
Absolutely, and
Expression
that
on
is
the bullet's
just
face and the arms of the robot.
yes, splat. And I'm not sure who did the artwork on this. Christoph, maybe you know, but it's really eclectic. It's really got its timely. It just is so much. It's so memorable. I know, Gaetano, I give you credit. You popped this up on one of your sites this week or the week before, and I had to run with this one. And of course, one of my favorite monsters of all time, Tim's least favorite of all time, the Froggy Myth.
What? That's a great monster.
Which just happens to be, well, he's always had a halfling. He's always been like chomped by one of these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, a great monster from there, and it's just hanging out in the swamp in the ecological area of the bottom level of this spaceship.
The frog hemoth looks like one of them kind of monsters that should go up against Godzilla.
Yeah, absolutely. Or it was in Pacific Rim, one of those things.
Yeah.
How big is that thing? Is that a huge monster? Or
yes, and I just did one about 4 months ago, Anna. The New God, if you remember that adventure where the Murlocs decided they were going to start worshiping the Froggy Myth. And they came to they came to a place, a villa outside of Altamira. And the Murlocs were there was a Froggy Myth in the pond, and so the Murlocs were worshiping it. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
We always ended up calling it a frog mouth.
Frog mouth.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool. So Christoph says there's a tease announcement. There's an article that refers to Expedition to Barrier Peaks. It's a fiction story. Good. That's awesome. So that is my first one to throw out there. Is I was not a fan of the whole adventure, but there's stuff in there to this day that I'm like, there's no power armor in my world anywhere, right? There's none of that stuff. No needler pistols, none of that. But there's the monsters that were in that, and some of the other little neat tidbits that came out of that module. So, and Jason, you haven't thrown one out there yet.
Well, I mean, mine is the classic DMG.
Okay.
The Dungeon Master Guide is full of humor.
That's
I
true.
mean, from the +3 back scratcher to the guys wearing the Mickey Mouse ears. That is just, there's so many humorous little cartoons in the original 1E Dungeon Master's Guide.
Which is remarkable.
You're absolutely correct. And the back scratcher one you referred to that just recently, didn't you?
Oh, somebody did.
Yeah, someone was that Pluffett. That was, I think it was Gary Julian who was talking about it as well, and that's a great one. I love the random monster encounters in the back. That expedition that's going through the dungeon.
Oh yeah.
There's a little and you see the little guy stabbing the stone giant. It's kind of funny, the whole situation, and they're like going boo to the trolls and all. I mean that's funny too.
Gary's bringing the wandering trollop table.
Yeah.
From the DMG.
That's nice.
That's like early Dragon magazine. I think it's Dragon 9 had the rules for orgies.
That I missed.
Oh yeah, there's a very graphic. I think it's a Trampier illustration of it.
And Tim
for the time.
Tim also points out Miracle the Chaotic, the original pictures in Dungeon Master's Guide. The iconic picture of Miracle the Chaotic is in there. which is
Oh,
awesome, an
God,
awesome picture.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw one out that's in the Dungeon Master's Guide that is fun. Are you ready?
Okay.
The potion miscibility table.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you fill up the yes.
Fun,
Mhm.
fun
Yep.
for the DM.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's a blast. When someone has a potion of gaseous see, I don't do it with healing potions because they're instantaneous. But say you have a potion of Hill Giant Strength on, and you forget, and you just decide you want to go invisible with a potion at that time, or or something else, or you want to drink a potion of Fire Resistance, and you already have Hill Giant Strength on. Gotta roll. That's a good one. So. Yes, you did, Casey. I had to ask if I used that during the. Absolutely, that's a fun one coming out of that Dungeon Master's Guide.
Wasn't one of the results on that chart that the potion effect is permanent?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So why not try that?
Now let's give credit where credit is due. I have not mentioned Leonard Lakofka yet, but I'm
Oh, you
going
did
to.
it. You did it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He, I believe in Secret of Bone Hill, has a pre-miscibled potion as one of the treasure items. And it's really bizarre. I believe it's mixed like a vampire control and polymorph self. I think you guys can look this up.
Hmm.
And that when you drink it, the first thing you think of is what you become permanently. So we had one of Alan's characters became a dungeon door one time. Yeah,
Clear
so
your minds, everybody.
yeah, definitely a good one.
So you play that one. So you ask the player, what do you think of, and then he becomes it. So
If he
it
took it,
works.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a pre-cross potion that had a missable effect on it
Yeah.
already.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta give credit to Leonard for that. That's an
Yeah.
awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, they liked doing that kind of stuff back in the day, like in Tomb of Horrors, they can gender switch you.
Oh,
That was a
absolutely.
big thing back in the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a lot of
A
it was
girdle
the
of
kind of
masculinity,
mainstay.
femininity. We didn't
Yes.
even, another fun item. So
Yep.
one of our
And
one of our friends, Gary, who doesn't play anymore, and Tim remembers him. Tom remembers him. He had a character named oh gosh, he became a she, so he had to change the name because she.
yeah,
But
they that and the alignment change with one of these kind of
mhm.
that pseudo mechanic kind
Yeah.
of things that were that caused a
Yeah,
lot of trouble. Yep.
definitely some fun things we're coming up with just at the spur of the moment there.
Mhm.
But the potion miscibility table, getting back to, and the alchemy. There's alchemy reagents in that section too, guys. And I've put that together with other articles, and I know Greg Baker Illustrion got it, and created a decent alchemist's list of components from that original Dungeon Master's Guide to start off. So that's another good thing that's fun right there in the potion miscibility table. So there you go. There's Greg. So yeah, excellent.
Nice.
That was a good one. That was a real good one there, Jason. Really, absolutely a fun one. So Anna, you're up.
Well, since I don't run modules, and when I was thinking about this funding Greyhawk, I was thinking, what do people that actually live in the setting, what do they do for fun? Meaning,
it's a good
where
one.
do they go? What do they do? And there's one of the things, meaning you have, what do you have for nightlife and stuff? And I was thinking you had these kind of the Wheel of Gold and a bunch of these kind of establishments in City of Greyhawk, and I was thinking, what do we have in the form of bards and entertainment, meaning stand-up comedy and stuff like that? That should be satire and stuff. That's something that I weaved into my campaigns, meaning the characters go out and they go to you have the local little inn where you have once a week there's like a bard coming from the big town that's touring around, and he's kind of satiring the king and making poop jokes and then he weaves into the silly jokes for the not so sophisticated rural population, so to speak. Then he puts in some critique of the king and the nobles, and if the people laugh, they're all in trouble and stuff like that. That's things that I weaved in. So I used entertainment entertainment in the setting, so to speak, as part of my campaigns and stuff, both for really just for fun and silliness, but also to weave it into the story. And I had a theater when they had a magician or illusionist hired to do all the illusions and stuff, and of course that became like a Phantom of the Opera going haywire kind of thing. So but I was thinking, have you played with entertainment and fun that way in your games too?
I'm going to talk about real quick here.
Yeah.
Estrella Chanfarel. I know we had so I did an adventure probably going back. It's got to be, I'm going to say 90, I don't know, mid 90s, where everyone knows now she's a Greyhawk dragon, right? But she got kidnapped by, she's what, Royal Opera House, and then the Grand Theater. There was a kidnapping going on. She just played along the whole time and was doing the singing right on stage. They were there. This was the Iron Brigade, and they went through this whole thing to rescue her. And when they got into a basement, they found a picture of her like 100 years ago as a different named opera singer. And they're like, what's this? So they thought she was undead at first. They thought she was an undead or something. So it was cool, and I love that aspect of Greyhawk. And some things, like, here's some other things. My buddy Alan, he plays Milana Sunbane. She's half dark elf, but she's lawful good. She's a knight. She actually goes to dinner with Otto a lot. Her and Otto hang out and go to the theater together. So cool, some cool things with that. One more, Mark's character out of East Vesper that Anna's placed on the map, in Celine. She has her own amphitheater where she has plays. And that's her thing. She's into the art. She's a fighter cleric, though, Selenian, and she does. They have all sorts of events as far as bands coming in and doing plays. It's an outdoor theater right in Selene. So yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah.
I always found bards are so much good for comic relief and fun. And I've done a series of writing up, trying some of them to be fun. Is when I do the write-ups on minstrel tales, where I take popular, not popular, but old lyrics and poems and such, and convert them so that they try to, their way in the Greyhawk. And in my campaign, I've always had in Greyhawk this master bard named Silvertongue, and Silvertongue the bard, and he will get the crowd singing along with him, and quite a number of like humorous or inappropriate songs that they get singing, and making fun of the guardsmen in the city, or making fun of the oligarchs, or so I have a number that you could find at least a few such things like that on my blog. But it's always been a handy part of the campaign, and I've also found that the players playing bards, they tend to have a much more lighthearted. I really haven't run across a player who's played a bard who isn't at least a little bit lighthearted, a little bit comic relief.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about the old first edition bards? Or are you talking about future editions?
First edition. That's up until this January. That's all I played.
Talking about a nasty character too, right? I mean, going through fighter, then thief, then to get the bard. I mean,
you had to be dedicated in order to be bard back then. It was not for weaklings. That was Mm-hmm.
Nice, good one. Definitely is for entertainment. Mike, any entertainment factors you would like to discuss?
Well, I'd like to say all the bards that I've played in games through all the editions, I've been the guy that would sit there and write parody of songs and stuff to then dispense in the middle of the game. So I'd like half pay attention, and
awesome.
Have a ditty to throw out at the right time.
You got to put them online so I can steal them, Mike.
They're all gone. I mean, I do have some things, but
never throw away anything D&D related. You've seen my basement, and you haven't seen the boxes of books, of notebooks. You cannot throw anything away.
My player habits are different than my DM habits for some reason. I don't have a whole lot of my player stuff, but I keep most of my DM stuff. oddly. Now, as to getting back on track, revisiting the Castle Greyhawk level stuff, I gotta bring up Dungeon Land and Land Beyond the Magic Mirror,
Oh,
Oh
yes.
God, yeah.
Mhm.
because again, these are two of my favorite modules, and I have ran these seriously. In
Okay.
Alice in Wonderland is, after The Hobbit, is my favorite book. So I took to it quite
Really?
quite well.
It's your
Yeah.
second favorite book. Wow. Okay.
Yep. And it's actually very memorable. My friends remember me running it because I guess I was more invested in the characters, and so I ran it. It's a creepy module actually. It's supposed to be Alice in Wonderland, but creepy. Where everything's out to kill you.
Do you like them both modules together? Here, I'm popping them up again.
Yeah, I think I tried to mash them together because it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ran them one after another. What? Where did they start in Greyhawk when they went off? Like, is it?
I do not really remember
Okay.
how I inserted them. I don't remember that part.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Castle Greyhawk, though, in the ruins.
Yeah, they're supposed to be in the Castle Greyhawk, right? But I don't really recall myself ever using Castle Greyhawk. That's the problem. Before I ran those modules.
Okay.
So it might have been a fact of, you find a hole in the middle of the city at Greyhawk and fall down.
You have Odd Alley, you can put it in there or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can always open a door and find something going on. Some basement in Greyhawk.
Well,
Or just you fall through the mirror or something.
they make a reappearance when you have to go to Demi-Planes in Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk.
That's right.
Along with Isle of the Ape. Both of them remake it's a little sidebar quest. You have to find pieces. And I was like, because I have never run them, but I knew someone would bring them up. And I have them, but I just never, I was like, this is not for me, but that's cool. And they're high level too. They're not low level adventures. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Death Knights and Fiends. Well, they can be fun sometimes, Gary. It just
interestingly, the second one, the Land Beyond the Magic Mirror, where you go through the mirror, the house that magic mirror in is Merlin's house.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Oh,
Yes.
it's mentioned in the adventure
Yes.
that
Merlin's.
Wow.
The Demi, hero god Merlin. That's his house.
That is so cool.
Nice. Huh. Did not know that.
Then it really brings in the fact that is a Greyhawk adventure, even if it's not labeled officially a Greyhawk adventure.
I mean, he's not home at the time, of course.
No, but it's his estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it always had me thinking, it's like, okay, this is in bottom of Zygus Castle, and Merlin lives here, and so I was thinking that's what a high level character should aspire to. These are the kind of weird things that they would have if you had all this money and power.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out in the basement, or hanging out in the bottom of a dungeon,
or creating your own demi-plane.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice. That's a cool one. Definitely. Who wants to handle another one? Fun.
I don't run modules, so
you're not fun, Anna?
I was here supposed to laugh at all your fun stuff. That was
right.
my role tonight. So,
I'll go.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you saved me.
From the Ashes led to me to laughing my butt off with this. And I was like, this is the genius. Here we go. Oh, that's all Hamlet. We'll get to Hamlet. Lossels. Okay? Lossels make me laugh. Okay? Because someone decided crossing an orc with a baboon was a great idea. And making it into a Ayu shock troops. That and see it makes it just one of the Lossels are fun. And I even have Lossel figures. So that's how warped I am. And Bill has painted them. So there, we have Lossel figures.
Yeah,
so,
I wonder if they were intended as fun because I'm trying to remember because they're in the Gourd books. They are mentioned in the Gourd books.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I was thinking if they were funny or not.
They're
But they're
literary monsters. They come
Yeah.
from Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Cool.
So
Okay.
borrowed. Okay.
And DeCamp and Pratt wrote the Incomplete Enchanter, which I think's one of the Appendix N books, and I think he encounters them in his. He goes to these crosses over from our reality into these lands of literary myth and kind of fantasy. And I think it's the second crossover where he crosses over into the land of Edmund Spenser's Fairy Queen, and I think that's where Harold Shea in that story runs into Lossels.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Gygax grabbed hold of that, or grabbed the idea from the original Fairy Queen.
Excellent. Well, that's good to know that they come from somewhere. So my
Yeah.
son is grabbing something. Cool. Right. Awesome.
Hi,
Nice
Shane.
book. So the reason I think they're fun is the following. There are many humiliating ways to die in Greyhawk or in any other campaign. But picture this. You are a 9th level fighter, and you're in the middle of the Vespi Forest, and you found this old fortress that you want to claim because it's completely overgrown, right? And it's just, you don't know how many hundreds of years it's been there. You find that there's Lossels inside. And when you charge, a Lossel throws petrified dung at you, critically hits you with the dung, struck in chest, instant death. So can you think of any more humiliating way to die than getting hit by crap? I can't. So that's the stuff that's the stuff of Lossels. And yes, that's why I think they're fun. But a lot of people may not. So
Oh, that yeah.
yes, so Maladin, Dennis brings up a good point. I don't know what the purpose, Dennis, of the flump is.
Yeah, the flump is. Ooh,
I don't know.
Is the flump mentioned in Greyhawk?
I don't think
like
it's
officially?
Fiend Folio, so it's a UK production.
Yeah, but I was thinking, is there an adventure or something in Greyhawk that actually has a flump? I can't remember flumps ever being mentioned anywhere.
They're lawful good, so
Yeah.
I've never used a flump ever in
The
it.
ecology of the flump and Dragon Magazine.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Flumps is one of these iconic kind of super awesome monsters. Not because of good monster design, just because they're ridiculous in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah, DM, you're absolutely right on the girdle masculinity, femininity. You've had that happen a couple times in my campaign too. That's a perfect one. So who wants to go next? Jason, Hannah?
One of my favorite modules, of course, is the Hill Giant Chief. And there is this tiny little module is 8 pages long, and it shows just right in it some of Gygax's just inherent humor. You're going through this module and you break into the giant's armory, and one of the weapons is this massive throwing hammer, and it's enchanted so that if you throw it at a dwarf, it says, "Here's a kiss for you, shorty." And I just absolutely love that.
Here's a kiss for you, runt. It says runt.
Oh, is it runt?
Yeah.
Here's a kiss for you, runt. I mean, to me, that right
awesome.
in the middle of that serious module, that was just hilarious.
You know what was fun in that one too, Jason? Going through all the giant bags. Remember there was a random table?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
They even that module was so lively. I mean, you had the kitchen maids. It's just the various things that were going on in there, because it was like this kinetic module. What he did in 8 pages is just astounding. But that little bit of humor just tickled me.
Awesome. Perfect time to say that too.
Yeah.
One-liners are remembered. So think about that. That module's 40 whatever years old, and you remember that. You remember that to this day. Did they have water closets in that too? If I recall, was that one I'm thinking of, or no? You know what? You know what?
No, I don't think they set aside a bathroom.
Okay. The other one I thought about in there is the picture of the orc spilling something and the female giantess ready to whack him with a frying pan. That's a cool
Oh
pic.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Some really funny stuff. Yeah, definitely. Good one.
I was
Definitely.
thinking of another monster that maybe not intended to be funny, but can be kind of silly in a way is the Quickling. That has, what is it, 96 move that is kind of just ridiculous more from a mechanical standpoint than anything else, but it's kind of, yeah, completely ridiculous.
Quicklings are very nasty cat creatures too.
Yeah, exactly. They're small,
You were
really
talking
nasty
about
ones.
this.
Yep.
And I think they're chaotic evil for the most part, aren't
I
they?
think so. Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah. I would consider that fun, definitely.
And back then when Greyhawk was really the only setting, we can look at the Monster Manual 1, the Fiend Folio, and the Monster Manual 2 as pretty much guidebooks for Greyhawk. So,
Yeah.
when we see silly monsters in there, we're pretty much seeing silly monsters that would have been, really set for Greyhawk because there was no other place that had been designed for them to be put in.
Yeah.
Right.
And another monster that is falling into the little bit of the same category that can be kind of silly, but are still damn dangerous are the red caps.
Hmm.
Yeah,
They're kind of silly, but they are nasty buggers. They're really, yeah, terrifying.
I never came across a red cap until Expeditions to the Ruins of Greyhawk. And down at the bottom level, there are 3 or 4 red caps. They're like high level goblins, and they're kind of very.
I've used them once, and that shocked my players because they were so nasty and really capable characters.
And they're riding a malfunctioning juggernaut that's bouncing around all over the place down there, and that was a pretty interesting encounter. Definitely. It's one of those. I don't know when they came out. Maybe 3rd edition. I don't think they were out in 1st and 2nd edition. But I was like, oh, cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
cool
I think
creature.
it's a 3rd edition thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So excellent. So Gary wants us to bring up Merlins, right?
Okay.
Let's do it. So Merlin. So deity wise, fun deities. I love Merlins, Gary, because. Oh, good. Thanks, Christoph. I really appreciate that. I want to take a look at that, and I know Tim will too, because Tim is really big on song in his game as well, and I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Definitely. Oh my God, my brain just went off.
Merlin.
Yeah.
Here we cross over into is it Greyhawk or not? What the hell's Clint Eastwood doing running around? Because he came over from Boot Hill, right? The man with no name. And he's got 6 shooters. And I love Specialty Priests of Merlin in my campaign. And they can use smoke powder, but they got to be 10th level. I don't have a single let me put this up here right now. I don't have a single player character in the campaign who has a functioning firearm. Let me just say that right now. But it's possible. So technology is a fun thing.
My 1st edition campaign, there was guns galore. And it wasn't because of Merlin or Boot Hill. It was because of that Dragon Magazine adventure, City Beyond the Gate.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. That was an early one, too.
Go looking for the Maze of St. Cuthbert, come back with an arsenal of guns and grenades.
Grenades, like, didn't the grenades do, like, 6 hit die fireball effects?
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely. So, technology is a fun thing. I always thought, oh man, I don't want to go here. Should I? That I guess it was. We needed like a balloon. We needed some dirigibles and Greyhawk here and there, but ones that crashed a lot, But then I guess that's Greyhawk. That's more Dragonlancian. I don't,
Oh yes, don't go there. No.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I got my taste of Dragonlance once. So
it's just that Tinker Gnome thing we were talking about. I like gnomes too much to make them comic relief.
Oh, I love gnomes too. Definitely. Jason, we did the Delving into Gnomes episode. We had some great discussion on gnomes. Absolutely.
But what's more comic relief, though? A Tinker Gnome or an Illusionist Gnome?
Oh, no. Illusionist Gnomes kick ass.
How about Illusionist Assassin Gnome?
I have no problem laughing at halflings, but gnomes, I I want to keep a little more serious in my campaign.
For me, it's Fae. I see Faes generally as some that they want to use like fairy dragons and all sorts of leprechauns and all dryads and all. They use kind of fun comedy, hilariousness, silliness, not because they
'Cause
are
they're
silly, but
always
as a
partying
weapon
and
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I mean, I think that like brownies and pixies and the fairy, the little folk, they should be, you know, there should be a dose of humor detailed with them. And one of the tricks to something like that is to make them, you know, to have them something like the Quickling, where they're awfully powerful for such tiny little creatures.
yeah,
Yep.
true.
And they hide their power behind being silly, so to speak.
I'm thinking of when a technological piece is in lore published sources. Can anyone help me with that? I guarantee you that we throw some anachronisms in there, like the Star Cairns. The Venture's not that good, but there's these cylindrical steel things, right? There, you know, a lot. There's these cairns all out in there that are made up from this unknown steel, which is someone technologically placed in there. And they never explained them. You know, I'm trying to think of some other instances of technology
technology.
technology being placed in published sources in Greyhawk. And that's one I can think of.
Well,
Besides
yeah.
Expedition.
See, right. Icarus's City of the Gods.
Okay, cool. Give us some instances from there, Mike.
Oh, I don't know much about it specifically.
Okay.
You know, you could use the Blackmore adventure, City of the Gods, and that would cover you. Wolfgang Bauer did a Dungeon Magazine adventure set in the Land of Black Ice that had a buried clockwork automaton.
I love clockwork
that was
creatures.
from some kind of technological civilization.
Yeah, they're kind of silly too, in a different way. From they're just crazy in a way.
I love the Apparatus Qualish. Did I say that right?
You guys are missing one. Well, I don't know, because you guys might not consider it Greyhawk, but for me, Baba Yaga. And there's a tank in there.
Yep. No, Baba Yaga heavily in my Greyhawk campaign. So yeah. Anyhow, you mentioned the Star Cairns. They're tied to Doom Grinder, which is another technology.
Oh, Doom Grinder, no.
Yeah, unfortunately, that ruined my entire forethought on that. Yeah, all of it. Notice I didn't even put. I stayed away from, you know, the really, I didn't put Star Cairns, Lizendrid, or the Doom Grinder up. I wanted to stay away from that. Because the first edition ones are very frivolous. The Doom Grinder is not frivolous at all. You know, the whole point behind it. You know,
it's messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it seemed to me to be kind of a rip-off of the Mastara module Earthshaker, which had the giant steam robot.
That
was funny. That was a funny thing. And I would have loved to have seen them do something like that. But yeah, Doom Grinder.
You know where Doom Grinder overstepped the line? And I've pontificated on this before. It's that all this whimsy stuff we're talking about, fun stuff, none of it was ever campaign changing. None of it ever affects the meta story of the
I agree.
Yeah.
Doom Grinder does.
It could.
So you can ignore all that other stuff if you use it or whatever. But if you use Doom Grinder, your campaign is changed forever. And I didn't like that.
Clockwork Horrors are mechanical. Malden, I agree. So if you've been watching, anyone's been watching my series, Trials of the Legion, an old semi-antithesis is in a clockwork bullet. Okay. It's like an Apparatus Qualish, but it's a bullet going around in that. So those things are they considered technological, but probably with a little bit magical in that as well. We did talk about that, yes, and we can go back to that if you want. Always, we're bouncing around here; it's no big deal. So, Mike, that was the first thing we talked about.
Funny.
That Mike, that was the very first thing we talked about, guys.
Now,
Was
I always think that you're showing Hamlet there. There's a
it's
lot
not
of
a problem. Hamlet?
yeah, that there's a lot of implied humor in that module.
Oh yeah.
You have you have Drunken Otis. You have the things happening in the Inn of the Welcome Wench. There's a lot of room for humor in that early module right there.
And the Inn of the Welcome Wench itself is a name in humor, and I brought it up because I'm sorry, I'm answering someone's question.
Yeah, we have Raven Shadows
Yes,
Yeah.
coming in. So
this
No,
is
we-
as much D&D as you can get. I mean, for Greyhawk, I'm an old school, I'm an old school DM, and is the best there is at Greyhawk mapping. Mike,
we all come from that old point of view, old school point of view.
yeah, Mike's got
Yeah.
a blog,
Covered all.
and Jason
Yeah.
is the Zavoda Index himself. So yeah, and we talk about a lot of stuff, and we have games and all. And I got 8
Yeah.
streams this week, so hang out here, enjoy it, and
And
hey, Wu Tang, what's
Legends
going
and-
on, man?
Hey,
Yeah,
what are you
and the
running?
Legends and Lore show is the one where we talk about the setting of Greyhawk. That is the original D&D setting.
But like I'll tell you, I've never run an adventure where humor doesn't make an appearance just organically within the game. It's just
Yeah.
I think it's the nature of the gameplay where maybe to relieve stress or just some silly stuff happens. But even without trying, and I am not good at designing humor, but humor happens despite my own lack of it. And so when I'm DMing a game, there were in the past there were just moments when we would, the group would just break out laughing because of some silliness that was happening, in the game. Some comments that people made, and just and the longer we played, there was always a dose of humor in every time we sat down at the table.
Especially 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
So let's bring up a subject that the audience just discussed, and as well, the fumbling is a spot of humor and a quick story. So we even have emotes for a fumble and a critical hit, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, we do. I have my wear on my forehead, and then we have Tim's head. They call me Tim. Has his own head for a critical hit, and my player Alan has taken the original Dragon magazine, critical hit and fumble tables, and created a work of art, guys, and some of the most funniest things that will ever happen. And it's a shame he's not on tonight, but Tim has his own special fumbles just for Tim, which are very, very comical. Not to Tim though, because it's actually busting Tim's personality, and that's what Alan's doing. We've had some also really crazy ones, like in Tim's world, my Cavalier cut off a leg of his gnome on a fumble. We've had all sorts of crazy things happen. So fumbling is fun.
Yeah.
Back muscles pulled, groin gets hit, damage, and crits. There's all sorts of fun things. Great point, guys. And I'm willing to share them with anyone. Where you guys one copy. Casey Draco has a copy. I gave all the people at the Greyhawks house last year a copy of my critical hit tables at Gen Con. I have no problem giving them to you guys if you want to check them out. So,
Jay, I used to keep my DM notes on this little
how many of them do you
binder
have?
poster board.
That's awesome.
Postcard size.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. And in the back, this was 1E into, no, it's 2E. That's right, 2E, because it was right at the end of player's option when I stopped using it. I had a fumble chart in there for when you roll a 1, and then that campaign got so high level that they only missed on 1s. Their Thecos were so good.
Wow.
So I had to make my fumble charts 2s and 1s.
Oh, nice. 10%.
So, but they were just things that were minor goof ups and kind of kept the combat at least interesting.
And it's good to throw that in there just to give it a little flavor. I know that the purists go back and go, there are no location hits in the game, shouldn't be fumble effects. Well, too bad. I think it's great. The spell repair injury was made in the player's option book that's 1E, 2E, just for those effects. Death's Door was made for negatives. And so, hey, it's great. There's spells to immediately. Ooh, you got an ooh.
In 3.5 in Pathfinder, I used their crit and fumble decks.
Yes,
that
I
was
did that too.
They were so much fun because when you pulled out that deck, then the players are all like, "Ooh, playing cards!" And suddenly get all excited, even though it was going to be something really bad.
Yeah, and you had the spell effects there too. So if you cast spells and stuff, that was also also really, really cool. And there were some nasty effects in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and they also have a tendency, since players do more rolls and they get attacked more often and stuff, so they get more of those effects thrown at them that they actually throw at others statistically. So it's kind of it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the players are forever the NPCs.
Exactly, they're disposable. Yep.
So let's finishing up Hamlet and the fumble thing real quick. I will get. I wanted to say that when I was a kid and I got this map and it was a completed town, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, right? It was a fantastic. I just lost my pick on. I just lost my my stream pick on my everything going okay. Something happened to my laptop there. Just want to make sure we didn't crash. We didn't crash, right? We're still there.
Yeah.
Everything looks good to me.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was just it must have been on my end.
It sounds good.
Let me check 1 second here.
Yeah, I just have to take care of my little follower here. She's hungry.
And
feed her. Yeah.
So you fumbled there, Jay.
I had never seen this. I mean, the ends was great inside. They had in detail the drinks. I was like, this is awesome, right?
The Pomage Black.
Yeah, wine, Celine Ruby.
Yes.
Sundish Lilac. Furiandi.
Fire Amber. Brandy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kiowish Brandy.
Yep.
Ulick Elixir.
Yep.
Liqueur.
I took that to heart and created lots of them, and I thought I had done some cool stuff, and then I heard about your endeavors in that area, Jay, and I felt like I was
okay. Well, I appreciate
was not anywhere near as cool. So now you have to tell about the story about your stuff here, because you have some awesome ones. I'm not going to steal them, but yeah.
So my Sunday night show is called Gabbin' at Lord Peakshaven. Lord Peakshaven is a bar in Tringley. Tringley was the site of a big festival back, and I'm going to say in the early 90s we did this festival. It celebrated the 20th year anniversary of the Order of Ulick founding in the game. So I don't know what year. This was probably like in the mid-90s. The bar has a drink called, and they don't know why, they don't know if it is, it's called Troll's Piss. So in order to... the wall has, you've all seen the picture of the dogs shooting pool, right? The velvet pictures. There's some velvet pictures of the wall. Those are characters. Now there's no player characters. They're all NPCs. So how do you get on the wall? You have to drink 3 Trolls Pisses without passing out. Okay, that was the deal. Saving throw goes as following, and you couldn't cheat with magical means, because that was dishonorable, of course. You had to half con roll first save, third con second save, 1/4 con third save. We've never had a player character do 3. Everyone's always passed out. So there are pictures of the group passed out. So they have an artist who'll take the entire group passed out at the table. So that's kind of a fun thing. So, yep. Never runs out. It's not cheap either. So there you go. It regenerates in the cast in. That's fine. So that's the story of, and one of the reasons why Lord Peakshaven is the bar that we hang out with on Sunday nights. So
cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. It's a good story. I mean, it's kind of childish when you think about it, but it's one of the fun things we did with our friends back in the day. To this day, it has a place. So all right, someone else, give me something fun.
Well, we were talking about combat. I just wanted to get this in. I've always tried to encourage a little more role play, active combat than just rolling the dice. So I always give big bonuses for doing things like trying to pull the carpet out from under people,
Hmm.
throwing random
Nice.
objects, jumping from chandeliers. And I was mostly inspired by the 70s movies, The Three and Four Musketeers with Michael York and Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And
And
Raquel Welch.
their combat was hilarious. Like,
Yep.
he grabs the carpet to pull out from under him, and it just rips in his hands. Or they're fighting in the middle of a big wash where they're washing these huge things,
Mhm.
and the one's fighting with like a big keg of soap. It's just that they mixed in that movie such good humor with combat, and after that, I always wanted to try to encourage that in my game, because it just gave the players this thing where they're jumping into combat and they're throwing things, and and it was some of the times that were hilarious in our game was right in the middle of some of the biggest combats that we had.
Ready? I'm gonna roundtable this. Funniest thing a character has ever done, or dumbest, or however you want to answer it, in a campaign that you remember. Mike, go.
Wonderful. Funniest thing.
Like something stupid. You want me to start and you guys think about it?
Yeah, you better warm us up.
All right,
here.
Tim's on, so I get to bust his stones. We talked about this. His character, Fred the Farty, his gnome fighter, was on a ramp. He's a dart specialist. And he jumped off the ramp and Matrix wanted to pirouette 3 times in the air and throw the darts out at a target. I was like, this is not parkour. So yes, that's one of the silliest things I've seen. Sorry, Tim, in a while. Rose Estes. That's wrong. Gary, that's wrong. That's not nice. That was not nice at all.
Rose.
Yeah, that was not nice. So anyone else have a fun, silly thing a character's done? I'm messing with you, Tim. It was funny.
Okay, so my second edition campaigns tended to get, like all my campaigns, a little too high level and ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, a couple of my friends, playing an elf and a halfling respectively, were going to mess with Ayus for some reason. They were in his throne room, and they were captured, so to say, and the halfling decided to drop his drawers and moon Ayus while the wizard broke his staff of power. Yes, because they figured, oh, this is how we're going to get away. Because I think there's a small chance that you will be, taken to another plane.
Yes, thrown in another plane.
They made that roll. So to punish and reward them at the same time, I had them whisked to the realm of Grazit, and they ended up in chains there, and it's just so much fun to be had.
Mooning Ayus, that's a top 10er.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Little halfling.
So when Walt had his gnome cleric illusionist Boyd, and he was low level, like first level. When he first came up to the party, he says, "You want to see my trick?" And the party go, "Yeah." And then he casts color spray on the party and knock them all out.
Yeah.
Another silly, dumb thing, but no permanent damage done there. Anna, Jason, you got one?
Yeah, I have one that happened back in, this is like 25 years ago or something like that, and we had a fun, and I tried to create my dungeons realistically, and so this was kind of some bad guys and stuff with half orcs or whatever. It was one of these kind of they built a hideout somewhere that was half hidden away, so it was kind of a small dungeon thing, and of course they had to have a go some use their errands somewhere, so to speak. So there was a pit dug. There was one room that was like literally a pit, and I've been a soldier, and the standard thing is that you take two tree trunks and you put like a little piece of like wood in between the things, and so what they set up behind the door was simply this little thing that goes across, so to speak, to sit on, and the one of the half orcs that was in there, or human. I think it was a half orc or something. Ran in there and hid, and the nasty big barbarian, he came after and ran in, and he kind of opened the door, and he just see this little wooden thing going left and right. So he leans on it just to see in what it was, and then the bandit, he kind of pulled it off, and then he fell into the toilet pit, so to speak.
Nice.
We had kind of fun. That was one of these.
That's good.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun and laughed like crazy. So he had to be smelly, and there was no water around, and stuff like that. So you had to go to the village and whatnot. So yeah, so that was kind of funny, especially in these kind of toilet paperless times. So yeah.
So would you consider this funny? Everyone knows that I have ripped off Honey Peak from the G series, right? Right there, Jason, is an NPC in my campaign.
Yeah.
I love Honey Peak. He's like an annoyance he's my NPC high level that really gets on some of the characters' nerves. I used him a lot in the 90s when I had a couple players that, So they're in Vault of the Drow, and they're going through, remember the entrance tower as you come in to Vault of the Drow? The big black tower. And they're fighting through that, and one of Walt's character, Devitt, who's a dark elf, but she's good, is injured severely. So Funkin decides, I'm going to give her an extra healing potion, but it's really a filter of love. And make sure he's standing right in front of her when she takes it. Yeah. Is that so there you go. Gotta love filters of love. Another fun item in
Yeah.
yes.
I've had a player totally take out a villain that way.
Oh, that's a smart move. I mean, using it however you can. So yes, Tim, he's very annoying. A lot of my NPCs are. That's what they're meant for. So yeah, Dust of Obsession. That one I don't know, DM. I mean, I know Dust of Sneezing and Choking.
Yeah.
I don't know Dust of Obsession. Where was that from? I don't know that one. Let's talk about fun magic items now. So, Jason, give us a fun magic item.
Well, I actually have a adventure story for you.
Go for it. Absolutely, go for it.
One of my favorite modules is X8 Drums of Fire Mountain.
Okay.
I think it's X8, or it's D8. Well, anyway, it's set on this pseudo Polynesian island, which I've dropped into Greyhawk, and the characters toward the end. The island is filled with these, pig orcs and were-pigs, and I've added a whole bunch of stuff. So toward the end, there's a big volcano, and the characters are crossing these giant rope bridges across this huge chasm. And for some reason, they had been chased by a number of things, but they weren't being chased at the time. So they cross over this huge rope bridge. And as the characters are going, the thief who was lagging behind doesn't tell anybody, but he decides to cut the rope bridge free behind them so they can't be stuck up on. And the section that they came to was the central, like this huge shrine with a gigantic monstrous were-pig and all her progeny. And the characters had this tendency to yell, "Run away," and head for it. So they all start running. And they come to the rope bridge, and there's the thief just cutting away the last strand of the rope bridge. And, he almost got tossed into the chasm, but it was hilarious. Well, I thought it was funny.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Oh my God, that's a great one, Jason. Oh, jeez. Things come back to you, and you're just like, "Wow, what a memory!" It's kind of like it's almost like real life, and that's what I love about D&D so much. Dust of after Willow. Oh, okay. That's the Dust of Broken Hearts, isn't it?
Broken Hearts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, but Bill's not on to defend himself. DM, you gave another quick story. So, Bill. Hopefully he doesn't watch this. Builder Master Crafter had a Joanne Wally obsession, right? Because of that movie. Because Sorsha he's got a character named Sorsha and everything. Yeah, that Willow is the cause of a lot of male fantasies with Joanne Wally in that venture, and with the red hair and the whole thing. So Yes, even Tim says but Bill had a real fascination with that with her. Yep. But what a great movie! I heard they're making a sequel.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a sequel written.
I heard it. Ron Howard said he was going to produce it. I mean, we'll see. Hear a lot of things nowadays, but everything's probably on hold now anyway. But
Yeah, for the moment. Yeah.
yeah. All right, so fun magic items.
Oh, there's nothing. I mean, magic items just lend themselves to being fun. And I mean, you go back to that DMG with the +3 back scratcher, you immediately understand that you can have a great deal of fun with magic items. Like a cursed sword of dancing that it will fight for you, but your character has to dance while it's doing it. There's all kinds of things. And I love bizarre magic items in my campaign. You're going to run, like one of the things I just had was somebody comes across the shovel, and it's this magic shovel that lets you, when you dig in the ground, you'll get a potato. And you'll always be able to dig up a potato with this thing. So, like the one character's carrying it around so that they can always have food on the move. And he's using it as it is magic. So creatures that need to be hit by a magic weapon can actually be hit with this magic potato shovel. So I love humorous stuff.
I've seen the Merlin spoon, and Tom brought this up earlier, being used as a torture device because it says it tastes like wet cardboard. So one of Marco's characters had one, and they were interrogating this orc, and of course, the orc, I ain't telling you shit, and it's right in the mouth and started stirring it, and then the orc talked because of the gruel going in the mouth. So yeah, lovely stuff. So hey, there's Brian Sublime, guys. Brian Sublime. It will be our 5th and final GaryCon VTT stream Saturday night, DMing 5e right here. Gonna be awesome. Good to see you on, man. All right, so give me some more fun magic items, and audience, give me some more fun magic items.
Well, the maximum fun for me would be a Wand of Wonder.
Yes. In the hands of, we found out Saturday night, even though he didn't have one yet, what class can actually control the Wand of Wonder?
Wild mages.
Incorrect. It's a published class in Dragon Magazine.
Well, that's the
Jester.
Oh, right.
I played a Jester Saturday night, and unfortunately, he didn't have a Wand of Wonder, but that would have been great. But yeah, that's their golden ticket item is the Wand of Wonder. So, yes.
Gaetano, yeah.
Deck of Many Things is
it's all fun until someone loses their soul.
It is the Deck of Many Things. I found you have to be very careful with in the campaign because that'll zap a character permanently and
that's
fight
how
death.
I kind of ended my epic campaign. I just kind of sat one of them down on the table and just sat back and watched those 30th level characters destroy themselves.
Yeah, that is one. Yeah, my Morphe, you're absolutely correct. The Jester. It's fun if you pick the right card. It's not if you pick the wrong card. It's a 50-50 shot, guys. So, all right. So,
yes.
See, Brian, Fool's Magic Longsword. It does 1d8 physical damage. Looks like a stuffed sword, so you can take it anywhere. But people think you are a simpleton. That's a cool item. You know what's a cool item too is like a long tooth dagger. Those items that you think are real small, like Brian is saying, but then they actually do bigger damage. They're cool. That's a cool thing. Yeah, definitely. Black Razor. Yeah, it's. Oh my God. And a Kinnerless Extreme version. I saw what you said, man. See, now he's gonna bust me again right away. So it's okay, Sarah. We're just talking about fun magic items here. Yeah.
My players had a great time with my ever full basket of eggs. And, it became like a very handy missile weapon thing, where one character was throwing eggs in the faces of attacking orcs, And we did it, and I let them do it where the basket let the eggs be enchanted so it could hit them in the face. So these orcs they're trying to attack, and they're getting blinded by these eggs that keep slapping them in the face. So it ended up being a pretty powerful weapon. But the character had to go around with this little wicker like Easter basket, stuffed full of eggs that was always falling around and stuff. We had a good time with that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's man, Deck of Many Things is so scary. That's it's fun, but it's yeah. I like. What's
at
up?
low level, the Deck of Many Things, I think the costs outweigh the detrimental stuff. At high level, you have too much to lose.
Yeah, true.
When you're playing around with that.
Yeah. Brian brings up going, alchemy jugs can be a real fun magic item. I agree, because of all the different stuff you can put out of an alchemy jug, from cyanide to mayonnaise to all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Staff. See, Tim's good at that. Tim, I never want to see confetti ever again in your campaign. If I see confetti, I'm doing a run just like people run when they see the comet in my world. So this is a good story. This is in his city-state campaign. We're all at the table, and we got an important package. And he comes, and it's really nice. It looks like a present with bow on it and everything. And they're sitting there and pull the string, open it up, poof! Confetti goes all over the room, along with a Mordenkainen's disjunction spell. So I never want to see confetti ever again. Yeah. There are a lot of retractable weapons in the game. I'll give you one: the staff spear, cool item.
Yeah,
that's a real cool one. The Rod of Lordly Might. Press a button. You have a battle axe. You have a spear. I think you have a sword as well.
Yeah. Was the Rod of 7 Parts a weapon, or is that just some other weird thingy?
I've never. That's a good question for the audience on that one.
Yeah.
I
See
never.
If someone can figure that out. Yeah.
Rods of Lordly Might were cool because they could open doors. They could detect magnetic north. They could do all. They could heal you. There was a effect that could heal you. It was a cool item. Yeah.
Yeah, I have this one magic item that seems funny, but is actually kind of a terrifying item at the end, and it's the box of dancing mice. But I won't get into it because it actually ends up where everyone's a little charmed by it, but it grows into a very gruesome, haunting kind of magic item at the end. But it is something that the spring on players, they like it at first, and as it goes further, they dislike it intensely. It's one of those things you can't get rid of. Not easily.
So it was a cursed item.
Severely very. Cursed.
I don't even want to know it. It was an infinite number of mice coming out of it.
No, it's not like that. It's actually written up on my blog. It's one of my magic.
You can link if you want to link it. You can. Feel free to link it.
I would, but I wanted to link something else first. It was it's not quite a magic item. It's just I really loved. I started with B1 back in '77 with Holmes Basic, and that module didn't come filled out. We had to fill it out ourselves, and we just kept on going deeper and deeper. And I think we got 13 levels down of our own dungeon levels in that. But we were like 12 at the time, so they were awful. But one of the things that I later had was that the magic mouse that feature, one of the things that you run into in them, had gone crazy after all the years. So I have this insult generator that the magic mouths use. That they all have a dwarven accent and kind of a Scottish dwarven accent, and they go into a series of these long. They stop doing what they're supposed to do, and they'll break into the series of insults where they just insult anybody passing by, and as the characters are leaving in the distance, they're being shouted out at these various insults. So I've got a little generation system for. I'm gonna link that.
Wow, the Tapestry of Ekbeer from Greyhawk Adventures. So yeah, because it's a picture of a river, isn't it? And it actually could flow in and out of the tapestry, if I recall correctly. Yeah, that's cool. All right, there's that magic mouth. Awesome. I love that picture too with the dwarves. Is it dwarves around that magic mouth in Dungeon Master's Guide?
That's the one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that picture. Free, you yelling freedom like Braveheart. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stitch this, Jimmy. I would have thought you would put "Here's a kiss for you" run down just as a joke.
Oh, I should have. I should have. But that. Most of these are actually a lot of insults that I've gotten from Scottish television.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a fun one there, Gary. The Tapestry of Ekpir. I've never given that one out. I have to check that out. That's pretty cool. That like the water flows right out of it. Neat one, definitely. I've never run. I've heard like there's a lot of items like that in the Alec Bar adventure, and I never ran that one. Did anyone here run that Talisman
Yeah.
and Cup of Alec Bar?
No, I read it once, but that was
Yeah.
like 10 years ago, so I forgot most of it. But
Okay.
it's
All
yeah.
right.
But I forgot, was that officially published or was it
Oh,
just
yeah.
one?
No,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
official. It's an official one. So
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I
never owned
remember
that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't even own it.
No, I have it. It's just another one's. I didn't run the Desert of Desolation series either, so I'm not too much up on that. So really some guys. That was. I mean, you guys are giving us a bunch out of in the discussion. I really appreciate
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of whimsical magic items that get published in Dragon magazines all the time, and I try and compile them into my magic items book, like boots of comfort and stuff that ever burning logs, all sorts of crazy, stuff that doesn't matter in the game, like as far as, but is a good item to, for the role play part of it, you know. But
Yeah.
Ring of Manfred. I don't know that. Tim, you're putting up stuff. I have no idea what it is. Maybe I should. You know what's fun? Bags of holding and bags of devouring. No, they're not
No,
really
geez.
fun. They're
Yeah.
not really that fun. Portable holes are fun because you can put all sorts of things in them. Now, I don't know who developed this, Tim. You're gonna have to tell me. This was called a version of that, and it was called a Cloak of Wonder Space. And there's a couple in my campaign. There's an entrance into the cloak, and it's kind of like a three-dimensional room in there, or a house even, in the Cloak of Wonder Space. Hang your cloak up, boom, go inside. Kind of. Probably, there's a lot of items like that. Like a Darren's Instant Fortress is a cool one too. Really neat stuff. So, anyone else with some items? We'll move on. That was good, man. We had a lot of good ones. Good ones. How about? Oh, Jeff Moore. That's incredible. I thought Luke made that. Not Luke. I actually. Mark's uncle Luke. I did not know that. So, give me a fun character from published source. Jason, you got to have one. Yeah.
Oh my! Well, I mean, there were ones that were a little bit humorous. Basically, well, I don't know. Will you consider the Gord the Rogue stuff to be published sources?
I think
Oh yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
Gary wrote it, so that, if anything, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the Gord stuff, it went through. There were several stories that were he was trying more for humor, and one of them was called Twistback's Game, and they had to do this kind of a pub street crawl through the city of Greyhawk, doing these naming games about the signs on the various taverns, and the humorous characters in there really with Gord, he had a barbarian friend named Chert, and Gary seemed to really be going for a Fairford and Mauser feel, and those two together.
And it was Greenleaf, the Ranger Druid as well.
Well, it's let's see. Chert was a barbarian, and Gord would have been that tumbler thief.
Yeah.
And
And then Greenleaf was a ranger
oh
druid,
yes,
I think.
Curly Greenleaf.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Curly
Curly
Greenleaf.
who's bald. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep, that's kind of funny in its way, in a way. Yeah.
Yes, but Chert and Gord were the little
And
comedy.
his name was Chert, and he doesn't have a shirt. He's
Oh,
shirtless.
oh God, I
Yeah.
missed
So
that.
so both names are funny and silly in a way. So yeah.
But that was, I mean that little story. It's not really laugh out funny, but it's probably got
It's
more humor in it than
yeah,
most of the other stuff that
yeah.
I've read from
But
in the Gord series.
yeah, but there's one other thing that I think, at least I laughed at it. It was kind of funny. It was when the Grast has his demon court with other demon lords and stuff, and they start to protest and they start to mumble and they kind of they the insults and stuff they throw at each other and stuff is hilarious. I think it's awesome. I just love that part, that he really got the demonic kind of a demonic court, and all the intricacies and the maneuvering and stuff in the demonic court is awesome. And how Grast is having that over there they're starting to mumble and yell and scream, and there was one little toad demon that started to say something, and Kostitcha just takes his big hammer and just whacks it just like a little fly. And I think the descriptions and stuff are kind of funny. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You know, as much as I hungered for more Greyhawk stuff in those later books, I absolutely loved what he did with the demons and the devils and the
Yeah.
demonic abyss. It was
Mhm.
just
Yep.
tremendous stuff. And yes, there was a real sense of humor in some of that, that seeing how silly they were, and even between Igvivil and Zygmoti,
Yeah.
they had their little comedy
Mhm.
sketch going on
It was
there.
super serious and a lot of casualties, but it was funny at the same time.
And that is a good thing. Throwing a little humor in here and there. You don't be dour the entire time, you know. So, Scott and Kanan brought up Evan and Never Zig, my favorite villain. Where's he from?
Or was that homemade?
Is it homemade? Oh, is it homemade?
I'm guessing.
Okay. Knight
Nice.
Errant, he says. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
not.
okay.
Then it's not. All right, good one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there are so many ways to go with character wise. I like a lot of and once again, it's my favorite publication ever, the Free City Greyhawk box set. But like, there's so many great,
Oh, is that
fun. Like, okay, all right. And my number one in that is probably Grimmy Fisher, who I didn't get killed off in from the asses, because he's a gnome with a rubber chicken. I mean, come on, you know, where to get a rubber chicken in Greyhawk? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. He's friends with a lot of the members of the Iron Brigade in my campaign, right? You know, it's just wonderful, you know, that kind of humor exists back then. You know, that they can really make light of things. And once again, I know you were saying, Jason, gnomes are more serious, but I tend to find gnomes very comical in the publications. You know, so. I agree. So Gary says Ravenloft is funny too. I agree. The Ravenloft modules were great. The Ravenloft setting's funny.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm sorry. You said Raxivort. Raxivort. I'm sorry. My bad. I agree. I think Ravenloft's funny myself, because Lord Soth is meant to be like serious, but he's it's actually funny in my opinion. So my bad. I looked at. Yeah. So Raxivort, the Svart guide, right? Running all over. Yeah. Raxivort.
good stuff.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. So any other ones you want to talk about? Like, pop it up. We got some modules
quick.
still. What's that?
Yeah, this is both module and comment on characters. Tim mentioned Nix and Nox earlier for White Plume Mountain.
Yes.
Not funny, but it jogged my memory. Have you guys heard of? You've heard of White Plume Mountain? Have you heard of Return to White Blue Mountain?
I ran it.
Have you heard of Return to White Blue Mountain?
Nope.
No.
Aha.
No.
Then I shall link you.
Who wrote it?
Me.
Yeah, really?
To say, yeah.
It's a choose your own adventure thing in one of my comics. Have fun.
Ah.
Great link. 2005.
Yeah.
Your big Gen Con special issue. That is awesome. And you did the artwork too?
Yeah.
That is-
I'm telling you, I've been doing this parody stuff for a long time.
that is
One to
great. I'm
date.
saving that.
Mike's Greyhawk comic is wonderful.
That is awesome.
Meaning, Mike, you're
Spoilers.
the expert here. You're the super expert of
He
this.
really is. I mean, because
Yep.
his comic is just full of little quips and
Yeah.
funny little things on Greyhawk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scott's right. That was when the Kingdom of Loathing came out.
Okay.
That's what I was kind of basing some of it off of, I think. If you even know what that is. It's not worth explaining, but it's a choose your own adventure type thing.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to see that humor was alive back then too, with Greyhawk and publications. So explain, Mike, your cultists for us out of your cartoon.
Cultists?
Are they like foolhardy or do dumb things?
Okay, so the Cultists is a classic two-man comedy team.
Okay.
You have one serious cultist who is dispensing the lore, and then you have the other goofy cultist who is like, cracking all these jokes to the straight man. That's all it is.
Okay, so it's kind of like almost maybe a Laurel and Hardy or
Ivan Costello.
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So if they were both like equally evil or equally goofy, I don't think it would work the same. They're both obviously cultists and insane and all that stuff, but they have their own personalities under the mask.
Gary says you did a funny parody of Spine Castle article using old school video game screens.
Yeah, I've done a comic for just about it.
That's awesome.
I turned Gary's Spine Castle into a level of Super Mario Brothers.
That is great.
Yeah.
Was it a hard level at least?
My mind was pretty sharp back then.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Fun. This was not Greyhawk, but we made it Greyhawk. Jason, I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet. Phineas Fingers.
Oh yes, it's been on the tip of my tongue.
Go for it, Jason. And Wormy.
No. You're bringing it up, but
I'll do Phineas Fingers. You do Wormy. How's that sound?
No. I got a Phineas Fingers thing.
Go for Phineas. You do Phineas. Go for it.
All right. Well, Phineas isn't Greyhawk, but he's back there, and he influenced me terribly back when I was a younger DM. And one of my earliest things was running a kind of warfare, the Gourd Beggars Thieves World, Thieves Guild fighting going on in Greyhawk. And so one of the offshoots of that were the halfling thieves. And in Phineas Fingers, they run them like the mafia. And so I have this organization of these within Greyhawk. I have this organization of these halfling thieves who were the most vicious little thieves. And my players, they hated them the way that like Warcraft players hate Murlocs. There were just so many of them. And you never knew, and they would do things where like they would disappear into the halfling communities so that you have and so like these huge humanoid humans would run into the halfling area of Greyhawk, and they'd get everybody throwing things at them and driving them off, and I had a great time, but that was all influenced from that hilarious Phineas Fingers strip.
What the hell was
Love the comics.
what was the name of the ranger who wore the sunglasses? And then one thing he goes, "Here, hold my Foster Grants," right? Oh my gosh, what was his name? And he had that wand of automatic missile fire, which was a machine gun.
It's a Thompson submachine gun.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
awesome. He's mowing down the halflings. That was great. Oh man, that was funny. And I always that Phineas thing, Grand, and just the whole Grand storyline was great. But Wormy was a little darker, but it was kind of had its funny
Oh, he
points
had its
too,
moment. Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
was wanted not for killing; he was wanted for wargaming, right? That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah. So, board flack. Thank you, Tim. Yeah,
That's
it was board flack.
black. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. The tragedy of Macbeth. Lots of McDonald's references. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That was. Those were great. I should have put some of them up. I also should have put up Adventures Dirty Deeds, the ones with myself and all my friends in the cartoon that Jeff Moore did, but I didn't. I'll save them for another night. Again. But comics just, what's new was witty, right? But like I really enjoyed Wormy and Phineas, both of those back in the day.
Mm.
It was a
And
shame that they,
Dragon Mirth, the little cartoon.
yeah.
I just posted in on my blog the other day about Dragon Mirth. I got a bunch of the old strips on there.
Cool.
I mean,
Oh yeah, you
really
do got
hit
like
and miss,
6 or
but-
7 of them, don't you?
Random stuff.
Yeah. And getting back to more fun. What's more fun than going through a monster manual and you see, talk to this Lynx, the last creature we tried to talk to ate half the party, right? I mean, right in the freaking monster manual.
Yeah.
So they had some really good humor back then. There was a parody
And
players
anyway,
hit. Okay, yeah,
Dragon Mirth were just fantastic in back in the day. They were just
And then even later on, I mean, we haven't mentioned Knights of the Dinner Table. I was a huge Knights of the Dinner Table fan, and they had so many things that were taken from the early, the early DM's Guide and the early adventures, that they really had a lot of Greyhawk connections to their humor, because that's where the early stuff was. And
So- yeah, absolutely. Here's we're talking. We've been talking White Dwarf magazine now, which is awesome that people are going out that far, and thinking of old things. I didn't know about the Thread. That's just 100 Grooves.
Yeah, Sergio Aragones is my favorite comic strip artist.
Really awesome.
Yeah. Mad Magazine and all that stuff. That's what got me into doing that kind of stuff.
Wow. Phew, man. All right, we got to think of.
The Legend of Waldorf.
So, Jason, if you could ask for something back from the first 10 years that was fun of the early days, what it could be anything. What would it be? And it could be republished, or just characters active again, or think
Well,
come up
I
Anna, you too. On
I
this
know
one.
Phineas did continue on in other magazines, but nothing like it had been in the early days. And I would say from that early period, for humor,
Yeah.
it would have had to have been either Phineas, or I loved Wham stuff, and I just loved his his various little science fiction. You know who Tom Wham is, right? And I just loved his stuff. But really, I would have loved to see Phineas continue. Otherwise, I'm an absolute Trampier fan, and I would have loved to see that go on. But it wasn't exactly the humor that you got out of Phineas.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else want to pick up that? Like something that's like,
I just love Dragon Mirror. Those
yeah.
one or two ones. I remember one was kind of awesome. There was like there was a adventures that were laid out flat like this, and we're thinking, there's something on my mind. I can't just figure out what it is, and was like huge mental block, like squished them out like that, and it was there. And one of my favorite was there was one guy coming yelling and screaming into an inn and saying that, oh, run for cover, there is a paladin, the 21st level paladin, or like 19th level or whatever paladin with 10 XP left to 20th level or something, and run and hide everybody. And yes, and they always made fun of certain monsters that had too many hit points and stuff. That was like one tough pig and all sorts of, yeah, I just love them. They were
Gary had. Gary has one of. Dude, all right, I got to read this. I have to read this. All right, so 1 year ago in Dragon 137, a letter from reader whose character Waldorf, a 358th level mage, had destroyed Greyhawk with the nuclear bombs he had invented. Only Castle Waldorf and the salt mines beneath it, which the deities labored, were left. We received a lot of mail about the little letter. Please tell Waldorf I've successfully completed making my savings roll and ask him how much damage it took from the atomic bomb. That is, I can't imagine working there and getting that.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, finish washing Orcus's dishes. That's, yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, that is funny. Oh my god. Yeah, I wish Wormy had an ending too. They're really getting going with the wargaming box of trolls he got and all that, and the trolls falling down the steps, and yeah, that's about where it ended. And you're like, when's it coming back? I was like, what, early Dragons, like 65 or 66?
Some Wormy's better than none.
Yeah, 358. Oh my gosh, that is.
Somebody just brought up Restonford and Bone Hill. And I don't know about you, but we had a lot. I had fun running the gambling hall priests in L1.
Yeah, the Church of the Big Game.
Yeah,
there were Norbo, I think. The god of luck. I think Norbo. It was a church.
Yeah, I mean it was appropriate, but it was a little bit of Vegas there.
All right, I'm gonna harp on. Kafka. Bonehill is amazing. If it says 2 to 5, you can squeeze in first because there's some pre-areas you can do. It's a great, and you don't have to put it. Leonard's not watching. You don't have to put it in on the island. There's places all over the place you can place it. It's a great entry level adventure to do. Love it. Spectator, Stone Guardians, all sorts of Zombire, Skelters. Just great, unbelievable stuff in that adventure. Now, if you go to the next one, the Assassin's Knot, Tim will have a stroke because Tim permanently lost a character in that one to the Assassin's Guild there. Yes, but it created. Here's another fun thing. It created a character with a weird quirk, and that would be a character with multiple personalities. Now, you saw Murdoch during the fundraiser event. He has like 15 or 16 different personalities. That character wouldn't exist if Gridley didn't get assassinated in the Assassin's Knot. So, yep, cool stuff.
And home to so many half-orc assassins. L2.
Yeah, there's a lot of human assassins in there too, man. Tons of assassins in that one. I like it. I mean, it didn't make our Wall of Fame, but I like that adventure. Definitely was well written out. So, absolutely. So, give us a couple more, guys, because we're winding down here. All right. So let me talk about the two NPCs on here real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I was waiting for that.
Okay. So I'm gonna.
These two. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold it right here. I know, guys, that this isn't pure. We usually shouldn't talk about my campaign, but too bad.
This is an exception. That
yes, it is
worth it. Yep.
So, what is better than having neutral-based NPCs? One's a bugbear, one's a goblin. They're best of friends. The bugbear only speaks bugbear, but the goblin speaks goblin, bugbear, and a little common. Right. One's a fighter and one's a bounty hunter. So, and they're always out doing things. They're always out on critical missions because they're members of the Altamira Bounty Hunters Guild. I've had these characters for it's got to be 35 years. And thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. And their names are, the Goblin's name's Poo Poo, and I'm childish, I know, and the Bugbear's name's Kaka. So, all right, so they get along, and yeah, kind of, but they do their job well. In fact, Poo Poo and Kaka are the ones that recaptured Fritz Winchester 3 times. They're responsible for keeping Fritz in where he belonged. They're hired specifically to make sure he did not escape during the early adventure days over there. So I don't like and I don't approve of player character humanoids, but NPCs, you throw a little humor in there. They fought against Dark Elves before. They fought against, they're neutral. They're out for the money. I think they both worship Zilchis, if I recall.
Money.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And you're right. It's a comedy act team. But like Kaka always goes and grunts, and then the goblin relays what he said. But he's got real high intelligence, so he sounds very, very smart as a bugbear. So there you go. So that's my attempt at some humanoid humor, because not all humanoids are evil and bad. So there you go. Wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's cool because it's nuanced and except the names and it's kind of it's it's fun, and you use them several times in adventures.
Yeah.
And they're kind of a staple. Yeah,
Absolutely, and I throw them in when sometimes right out of the blue. I'll throw those guys.
yeah.
In. So appreciate that. They were, Tim. They were originally in the Lair of Wizarded along with Ichabod, the mayor of Altamira. With Ichabod has the lowest stats in the entire game. His average stat, and this is first edition, is 8. Yeah. So I don't think he has a stat over 11. So be it. Completely average person. So, all right, throw a couple others. It's 9:46. Awesome. Throw a couple of us out there, guys. I'll shut
I'll
up.
throw another link out there to keep people
Do it.
busy.
Oh yes.
How about some puns?
Nice.
Yay, puns.
Okay, I got one adventure that I ran in the past, and in the '83 box set, in the back there are these suggested adventures, and the one I did was the Werewolves of the Meadowwood. So the characters are sent off, the player characters, and they've just about wiped them out, but they're trying to track the source of this werewolf infestation, and they come to this area where everything's knocked down. All the trees. It's like a little bit like Tunguski, and there's a huge crater, and at the center is a big lump of silver, some kind of silver meteorite that struck down. And of course, the players, they cut the thing up and they're taking chunks of silver, as much as they could carry with them. And this has come from the great outer dark beyond Earth. And this metal, it doesn't change them into werewolves, but what it does, there was a story by Lesprog the Camp, and in it people start growing hair. So the characters are cursed with hair growth, and they are growing hair all over their bodies, men and women. And I mean, they're growing it at a prodigious rate, so they have to stop and cut it back so it doesn't tangle them up.
Yep, that's
when they get into contact with other people, when they touch anybody else, they spread the curse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So from there on in, they're spreading this curse of hair growth throughout the land as they go from place to place, and they're searching. They have to make their way back to the city of Greyhawk to find out from the greatest wizards and alchemists how they can stop the growth of hair. But while they do, they have set off a plague, because anybody infected with it spreads it to somebody else. So they have set off this.
That will be an awesome adventure for times like this, because it's kind of a twist.
Yeah, But the players had a blast with it. I mean, I was a little worried because it it was an annoyance game. You know, it's like this is
Yeah.
so annoying.
But
But
didn't they get like armor class for it and stuff? There was a story I saw a few weeks ago or a few days ago on Facebook. There was a sheep that was been missing for 6 years and came back, and it hasn't been shaved, and the wool was so thick and so on, so the wolves and no predators could get to it because they couldn't bite it. So
No,
and that
the hair itself would burst your armor.
yeah. Hmm.
So they had to keep stripping down and shaving their whole bodies and stuff. The players had a good time with it because it was
Wow.
one of those things where I was a little wondering if I'd gone a little too far.
I think
Oh, you
it's
could
kind of
never go
fun.
too far, Jason.
Yeah.
You can
That's
never
kind of
go
fun.
too
That's
far as
fun.
a DM. You can't. Well, maybe not. You know what I
Oh,
mean.
of course you can, but not
Yeah.
that easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the cards in the City Greyhawk box set where there's a rock that rolls downhill every night and destroys a farmer's field. PC's hired to investigate. That is a good one. That is a good one, man. It's like it rolls up, but yeah, definitely. That's funny. Fair warning to everyone playing with Jowie for the first time this week. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
hmm.
I don't. Okay, elaborate on that one, Gary. So, Annie, got any final thoughts on
I would say that
fun?
this was great. I've learned so much. It's kind of awesome. Yeah. Mhm.
We even talk about puppets and child's play and all these other crazy ones
Yeah,
too.
but
Yeah,
they're tragic fun too. So
yeah,
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 yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
And Boltron's Beacon and a few others.
Oh, playing with me for the first time. I was like, who's Jowie? Oh, me. Oh, man. We'll talk about that real quick. Oh, yeah. Cannot wait. Yeah, absolutely. Jason's going to get it. I'm just kidding, Jason. So,
Oh, I know.
yes. So, why don't we do some final thoughts here? Because it'll take us well past 10 to handle this. So, Jason, why don't you start us off?
Well, let's see. I mean, just as a rule, I've always found the game just inspires some friendly humor. I'm not, as much if I tried, not really good um, at putting the humor in by trying.
Yeah.
But without trying, I'll tell you, I've had some of the most hilarious games come out, and I'm now an old enough DM to realize not to bother trying.
Right.
So I just do stuff, and like I said, I've tried a few things that should be humorous and are utter failures. But the funniest things have always been just things that happen naturally, organically in the game, and I think every session there's always, and like Anna said, around 2 a.m. there's always time for laughter in the game.
True.
And we saw Tim the other night, like he was laughing like crazy.
Yeah, he no matter what he's going to say, he had one too many. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, but it was fun though. Yeah,
Yeah,
he had
so-
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At late night gaming, you can have, and there were some hilarious things going on Saturday night. I just put it together in 2 hours, and boom! And man, what a fun time that was! And the great thing is that you gotta have enjoyment and laughter, and we wanted to make this lighthearted, tonight, just because of what's going on in the world, and plus it wasn't a scheduled Legends and Lore. So let's do this. Let's do whimsical. So
Yep.
Jason, great points, man. So. Mike, what do you got?
I'm next.
What do you got going up? Sure.
Let Annie do
Okay,
this.
we'll let Anna go.
Well, I can. I've been sitting here doing coastlines, and now I'm into mountains. I'm mapping out Worth as we are
Ooh.
talking here. So this is So and I'm starting. I prepped all week for seminars and the whole shebang. And Jay has been so helpful in throwing out all the ads and stuff. So this, I have to say, this is perfect. This is just what I need for kind of bringing me, inspire me even further, so to speak. And who can say no to Coco and Papa, or Coco, Papa, whatever. Yeah. And I have to invent something that is half as fun. Yeah. And I haven't got. So, yeah.
It's not hard to do because you just let's try this. So I've had some things that have fallen flat. Trust me. We've all had. It's.
We all do.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Mike, what do you got now?
So Anna, you said you were working on some coastlines and mountains and stuff. What was that
Yep.
thing you were doing with rivers?
Well, rivers, yeah, I've just launched the river map. So that's the a look at the rivers of the Flannies. That's the latest thing coming out, and now everything comes
So,
out.
so,
So yeah,
so
so
it's not out yet?
oh yeah, it is out. Yep.
It is out.
You can go to
Okay.
my website and you can download. It's just a release candidate because I haven't had any criticism on it yet. So I'm waiting for the onslaught of people saying that's wrong, that shouldn't be
Oh.
Oh
whatever.
my.
So there will be no. I don't think so. I haven't heard anything yet. But there is always people coming up, and it's not out of meanness. It's of spite. It's actually because they know more than me and they have read all the books. So that's something I welcome. That's the only way for me to really
It's the only
do
way.
high quality maps, is that I have a whole community of sharp-eyed Greyhawk fans that knows way more about all the esoteric little things that I don't know about, so and can't know about. So it's cool. But the basic thing is that it's a map that will, if you plan to do everything from where do trade flow along rivers. So it's basically I've taken the rivers and classified them into 5 different categories. So you have the biggest rivers are the ocean going. You can take any big ship that goes out in the ocean. The Nessers, think of the Amazon River in real, meaning they're several miles across and you can sail on them and whatever. And then you have the next class, then you can take small ocean going vessels like big Viking ships and stuff, or you can take any size flat bottom ships of any size. But the basic 2 sizes I have. One is that you can have large vessels, or vessels that a party of 5 characters can go with themselves, their cargo and their mounts. That's large ships. Small ships are where the characters can go and they can take themselves and their gear and stuff, but no mounts. That's small ships and vessels. And then so the 2 big classes, you can take large ships, and then you have the third one, then that's for barges of larger size and not and much more than that. And then you have the 4th size, only small ships, and then you have the unsuitable for river traffic, like streams and whatnots and stuff, really nasty ones up in the mountains and stuff. And then I put the major waterfalls in the Flannies. I put them on the map as well. So there are really some really big ones in the Yacht Hills, and there are some on the Tilvanot Peninsula have some fantastic waterfalls that are huge, really
Makes
tall.
sense.
And Amedio Jungle also have some of the biggest waterfalls in the Flannies or in surroundings. So that's basically what it is. So you can either base, if you want the characters to travel by river, that's one way you can use this in order to see what kind of vessels and travel.
Because the Darlene map doesn't differentiate.
Exactly. So what I did is that the text, both from the original game book from 80, setting book from 83, and from the Ashes, both have a chapter where the rivers are described, and you can actually see, and they say they are navigable to so and so and place so and so, and they don't detail. So I kind of filled in the blanks and categorized it a little bit more, but that's been my guide, so to speak, to do it. And the other thing is that you can, by figuring this out, you can kind of figure out where trade goes. And so what I did was that when I figured out the classification, I took where big cities was, because I realized that some of the big cities are probably placed there because you can go with like large ship this far, and then you can go with barges that they build a new city where they need to kind of unload it to a smaller ship and stuff like that. So yeah. So that's been my big project the past couple of months.
Yeah. Well, okay, that whole thing was a big setup for me to show off this link. I made Anna a comic. So this is both a new blog post.
Nice.
It's humor and it's lore. Check this out.
Awesome.
Have fun reading that because it'll take you an hour.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. I haven't read it, but I haven't seen this one, but it's fantastic. Yep.
So enjoy.
Oh, awesome. It's dedicated to you too, Anna. That is so awesome, Mike. Great setup.
That's great, Mike.
Perfect set, guys.
Oh, wow. Yep. Thank you. This is awesome.
And make sure, guys, you really check out Mike's blog all the time. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I
be
love your
fun.
drawings too. They're fantastic.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
This was a good one. This was fun, and that's what it was supposed to be. You know. And let me just be upfront. We don't have a topic for next week. I have too much to even think about right now.
Yeah.
Right. As soon as
Yeah.
we get through this week, then we'll tell you what Legends Lore's topic is next
Well,
week.
we might have a kind of a recap of some of the things that happened for GaryCon and stuff. But if you have a recap on Gabin show on Sunday, that might be
Yeah.
overdone. So yeah.
But you never know what'll come up during the
Oh.
games. Something
Yeah.
fun may come up.
Casey's right. Post.
Yeah. The post GaryCon wrap is Gabin. I already have that set for Gabin. Because I always do a wrap up at the end of every convention I go to, so it only made sense to do that on Gabin. But you're all welcome to come back on Gabin because we're gonna have fun with that one too. We may have Tim in there. We may have some other people. Jay will be slap happy. Oh my God, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So all right, let me go through this real quick. Starting tomorrow night, Trials of the Legion. Finished part 4, the Night Riders, a coven of hags, has overtaken the leadership of the Fultians at Radiant Fork, and 2 adventuring parties that are mixed together, the Legion and the Keep group, are working together to try and fight off these hags. And hags are nasty, as Anna said in that other discussion. Hags are very, very nasty. So we'll finish this up tomorrow night. This is going to be remotely, so Jay's going to be running around the table a lot. But everyone's going to remote in, and I don't think it'll be a problem because I got to get all the shit off the table for this weekend. So we have to finish it tomorrow night. No matter how late it goes, we will finish part 4 of Trials of the Legion. Okay? That'll be tomorrow night. That'll take us right into GaryCon VTT. We start off, of course, I had to open up a separate folder because we start off with Anna's. And these are all times, guys, are all central. Please note that they're central time. I will talk to you in our time in Eastern. So starting at, that's the wrong one. How many times I did that last time too? All right, there, we'll do this.
Yeah. Delete all the old ones.
So Anna Meyer, Fantasy Cartography Seminar is first of the 5 events. 7 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be dual broadcast on Lord Gazumba and Wizards of the Couch. Okay? And it'll be Anna doing her thing. I'll just be assisting on changing
Yeah,
stuff.
I have assembled like 70 slides, so there will be a bunch of material to go over, and it will be kind of technical, but not like you need to press menu item so and so. Not teaching the software. It's kind of telling about the principle, the thoughts behind it, and stuff like that we never get a chance to get into on other shows.
We have to have this done by like an hour and 45 in because this goes right into the next one. So this is going to be a great one. All these are going to be fantastic. That is right into celebrating Greyhawk, a fandom renaissance. Dual streamed on Lord Gazumba and GaryCon 2. Okay? It's going to be awesome. We start that at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So I have like 5 minutes to get them from one off to the other one. And dual stream it on a different channel. Yay. But we'll get it done. Okay? We'll get that done. I'm hoping the audience sticks from one to the other. So I think it will. But so we could have a massive audience for both of them. And the signups are going very well.
Is there a chat or something that goes along with the GaryCon?
There's a Discord. And there's a chat going on Facebook and Facebook.
For the live stuff.
Yeah, but the live stuff, they have a Twitch for that channel too.
Yes,
So just like they have for this one. So yeah.
The giveaways are all on. Yes, there is, and they're gonna have their own mods. It's gonna be dual streamed, but the giveaways are on the Lord Gazumba channel. And my guess is most of the audience will be here. But people who are just checking it out may find it on the other channels, which is great.
Yes, we have to keep an eye on
both
at the same time. Yeah.
Exactly. I can do it. You're right, Gitano. I can do it. I'm gonna bust it. That'll finish up Friday. Now Saturday is gonna be exhausting. I have 3 events, and we start this off with an unbelievably signed up for event. This one is the second largest sign up of seminars Only but Satine Phoenix has more of signups in his seminar.
That's not too shabby.
Yeah, it is not. I mean, and it's called DM's Technology Streaming, DM's Roundtable, Streaming Technology in D&D. Myself, Frank from Nightheart Gaming, who's on, and Ann from Nightheart Gaming, and Jimmy Duffy from Prater's Rejects. I have created a base, and I shared this with everyone on the GaryCon meeting. But we're going to really help people because VTT is where it's at now, right? Everyone wants to know how to do things, and they don't know how. We're going to teach people or try to assist people on getting the VTT set up, getting Zoom set up, getting what to use between XSplit and all the other softwares, OBS, how you set up a stream. I got my cheat card I put together. We're going to have a lot of different examples. And it's going to be a huge question and answer session. I have a feeling that 2 hours is not long enough for this. That's my feeling. It is. Thank you, Katana. I really appreciate it. I am excited about all 3 seminars. You know, they have different content and they have different direction, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Dual stream, Lord Gazama Wizards of the Couch. Okay. Right after that, so we go from 11 to 1 Eastern. Okay. That gives me 1 hour to get all my equipment up here, down into the basement, set up for when Jason's playing. Right, Jason?
Looking forward to it.
Yep. So here we go on this one. I gotta find it. Here it is. Next one. Horror in the Hools. My part of Horror in the Hools in the joint adventure I did with Car Licensing. It's its own separate adventure. 4 hours, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. Josh Pop is playing in a night game. PU Pick Dad from our Discord, and Jason and a bunch of people like JC Luxton, if you know him, are playing in this game. I'm looking forward to this. It's 5 or 6 or 7 people. I think it's up to 7 now. People who have never played on my table before. It's remote, so I will be doing all the figure moving and stuff, but they all have their characters already. Who are you playing there, Jason?
Well, I'm playing a cleric necromancer.
Yes.
Never played anything like that before.
He's playing Dex the Misunderstood. So, Bayou Halflings, you'll have to see, Gary. This one is, I've run this multiple times. This one day, you know, Carlos has a lot of things going on. He's going to publish this, both parts. And it's a mega adventure. Hopefully we get it published one day by CSL Entertainment. It's awesome. All right, so I'm looking forward to that. And it has all the J-isms you want. And you'll see, if you watch, you'll understand at the end what I'm talking about. So that's a cool one. So
yeah, to break out a 2E player's handbook for this one, because I don't think it sells.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a fun time. 2 to 6 Eastern. So now I have an hour and a half or 2 hour break. I got to run all this equipment back upstairs, get it back here, because Brian that night is going to finish up the night here. We're going to finish this up. 5e, Tomb of Tiberish. Okay, DM Brian Sublime, you know, and everyone knows how great his stuff is in Fantasy Grounds. 5th edition, okay, Greyhawk. I'm playing in it. Anna's playing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Pop is playing in it. The Nazrat, our longest subscribers, playing in it, and another real good friend of Brian and mine, Jeremy, is playing in this game. And the real cool thing is, it's an Brian's made all the names spoofs of archaeologists, so it's kind of cool. So looking forward to that. So schlepping, yes, yeah. Well, not a full desktop that weighs 40 pounds there, or whatever it does, Gary, and a widescreen monitor and all the other stuff. That'll finish us up. That's my gosh. And then Sunday night we'll do a Gavin recap. That's what we got going. So what do you think? That's 7 streams still remaining in this week.
Yeah, and I have it on Sunday at, I think it's noon Pacific, but I think it's 2 p.m. Central. There is a freelancing 101. It's Global Press that has that seminar, and I'm one of the panelists. We talk about how it is to work in the business and how to get in and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you know what the title is or the channel?
It's freelancing 101 tabletop role-playing games. So yeah, so freelancing 101. Yeah.
When you find out, could you link that on Flannis so that everyone?
Yes, somewhere I
Okay.
can
Okay.
get to it.
We
here.
want everyone to know with that because
Yep. Mhm.
I have nothing going on in my life on Saturday afternoon. So maybe, oh my God.
Yeah.
But so thank you all for a great stream as usual. Really appreciate it. This was a blast.
Good time.
Keep it light because, there's a lot of craziness going on in the world and we all have this as an escape. And I am off from work tomorrow, officially tomorrow and Friday, even though I was working remotely. I don't have to answer calls, nothing. So I am completely off. So if anyone needs me for anything that's going on, I'll be around for this because, starting with that game on Thursday. But thanks, Katano. Thank you all. One last thing. And I was going to say this to Ravens, who Ravens Shadows, who just subbed. Tomorrow night is a Stratagem sponsored giveaway night on our game. So, Titan Dice time. Okay, I'm giving away 3 sets of Titan Dice tomorrow night. 2 are for subscribers only, so it'll be on a subscriber roll. But we'll do 1 for everyone else. Everyone can sign up. All right. I have the pink Calliope, now that I can pronounce it properly, and the black Nyx. And I've gotten both these sets out, and I fumble with both of them equally and lose initiatives with both of them equally. So you take your pick. I got multiple sets of each. Titan Dice giveaway. Yes. Cursed Titan Dice tomorrow night.
I was going to go, have you ever had the set of dice you're trying to give away that actually works well?
Well, if you
You
go back
always try to undercut them and say that these are the worst dice ever.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I know that, but you have to have a set of dice that you don't touch. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be my cursed hands, and I must be getting.
Yeah,
It must be getting back for all the years I cheated
Yep.
so much.
Yep.
So absolutely, yeah. But that's tomorrow night's a great giveaway. Stratagem, one of my fantastic sponsors, is
Yep.
doing the Titan Dice giveaway tomorrow night. So, anyone else have any final thoughts? I think we're good, right? We did nice one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. See you all tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern for part 4, the Night Riders. And let's throw up the ad that's pertinent to this. Who's on? Anyone? Okay, stream stuff here. One of those moments when you're like looking at it like you can't wait for the weekend because of all the content, but then you're like, when's it? I gotta just get through Friday and Saturday, right? It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm signed up to watch all you guys, and I even signed up for one of the Tattoo Phoenix ones in the morning.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, we appreciate Jason. I'm looking forward to you playing on my table, man.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Dex the Misunderstood.
That's right. And I tell you, like I said, this is not my wheelhouse. I'm gonna have fun with it, and I'm gonna play the character.
That's cool. He's a gray elf. He's neutral, and he uses necromancy. He thinks he can harness it for benign means. No one's officially picked Fritz yet out of the group, so.
I think you scare him away with Fritz.
I got an email from one of the guys. He picked the tank. He picked Inquisitor, but he said, Fritz has my heart. I was like, that's so nice.
Yeah.
See you all tomorrow night. Have a good one. Am I going to hit the right button here?